Welcome back. This is the final episode for Let's Play Mega Man X2. First thing we're doing is showing off Crystal Snail's weapon, the Crystal Hunter. If you charge it, you can slow down time just like Crystal Snail did when we fought him at the end of the last episode, and the normal weapon just lets you freeze enemies and use them as platforms. This is actually the normal intended method of getting the hard tank here in Magna Centipede stage. You freeze this shield enemy here, and then you can use them as a platform to just get on up to where the hard tank is supposed to be. You don't need anything else aside from the Crystal Snail's weapon. I used the dash ability there, but you just saw me use the regular non-air dash, so you can get the hard tank with only just Crystal Snail's weapon. Anyway, moving on. It's time for the X Hunter Fortress, or the Counter Hunter Fortress if you're playing the Rockman X2 version of this game. We saw in the very beginning a little cutscene explaining that Dr. Kane has tracked down where the X-Hunters are operating from. We have our map here. We can see that they are at the North Pole, even though .00 isn't actually supposed to be the North Pole. Whatever it is in the Mega Man X universe, whatever. Let's get into it. The final fortress, the final set of stages for Mega Man X2. Compared to the Sigma Palace in X1, I like the X-Hunter base in X2. I think it's actually a pretty damn good final fortress, comparable to the excellent Sigma Palace that we had in X1. The X Hunter Fortress is great. This section here, we are reintroduced to the enemies that close in certain walls that we saw initially back in the intro stage of Mega Man X2. If you allow the enemies to close the walls, don't worry. If you just backtrack a little bit, then you come back forward, you will see that the walls reset, as you can see. So you don't need to worry too much about these walls closing in. If for some reason you were, too slow in actually starting to go up the walls and decide you wanted to back out because you weren't going to make it in time, don't worry, because the walls do respawn. They do go back to their starting position if you go off screen for just a little bit. So that's cool. Spin Wheel is a powerful, excellent weapon that you can use. It brings down these very difficult Scorpion enemies really, really quickly, so something to keep in mind. Silk Shot also does it relatively quickly, not as quickly as as Wheelgator's Spin Wheel, but it does it. The music for the X Hunter Fortress is fantastic. I love the X Hunter Fortress theme so much. As well as the overall Mega Man X2 soundtrack. I think the soundtrack for Mega Man X2 is really good. I mean, the X1 soundtrack is more iconic just because we hear it more often, but the X2 soundtrack is no slouch. It is a really good showcase for SNES instrumentation. It's great soundtrack. We took the top path there. Now we're going to check out and explore the bottom path. It is a little bit different from the top path. Aside from the fact that, it's not the safer top pad, it's also actually longer because you have this whole wall climbing section here with electricity lining some of the walls. The electricity doesn't kill you in one hit, but it does, of course, hurt you. So you want to make sure you stay away from that. Use Silk Shot here so that you can pretty effectively get up these walls without having to deal with the enemies. Unfortunately, the health bar kind of blocked that little bit of electricity there, so that was a shame. But it's fine. Get through this last wall climbing challenge and this final Scorpion enemy, and we are already at the end of X Hunter Stage 1. This is going to be a shorter video than episodes 1 and 2. We're only covering the final fortress in this video, and compared to the Maverick stages, there isn't that many extra stuff to there isn't that much extra stuff to discuss in the X Hunter Fortress compared to the regular stages in X2. So it's going to be a little bit shorter. Our first boss is a rematch with Violin. This is Neo Violin. The only thing different about Violin in this battle compared to our first fight with him, compared to our optional first fight with him, is that these blocks appear. He spawns in the blocks. He can make more blocks appear if he wants to, and he can occasionally, command the blocks to move to different positions. It's literally the only thing that's different about the Violin fight. Aside from that, he still does the ball and chain thing, which, does change in its which does become more or less dangerous depending on the positioning of the blocks. He still does a scatter shot, both the jump version and the ground version, and he's still weak to Bubble Crab. Because we are not in Wire Sponge's stage, you cannot use Silk Shot here as an option for one of Violin's weaknesses, because he's only weak to the Silk Shot that takes the form of the leaves. So everything else about Violin, though, is basically the same. It is just a repeat. It is just a for the most part, repeat of the fight that you can optionally have with him throughout the regular stages. The fights and the fortress at large doesn't change if you fight the 3 X-Hunters beforehand or you don't. So I mentioned before that there are 2 endings to this to this game. A good ending and a bad ending. A good ending if you fight all the X-Hunters whilst there were still Mavericks left to kill here in the main menu. There is a good ending for defeating all the X-Hunters and getting back all of Zero's parts, and there is a bad ending for not getting all of Zero's parts back. The fortress itself doesn't really change, aside from a couple of things towards the end. But aside from that, though, the X-Hunter Fortress remains basically exactly the same between both scenarios of the game. Whether it's a scenario where you've already beaten all the X-Hunters or a scenario where you haven't fought any of the X-Hunters or you only fought one of the X-Hunters or 2 of the X-Hunters, this fortress does not change largely, aside from the very end. So X-Hunter Stage 2 is a shorter stage than Stage 1. About the same level of difficulty of Stage 1. It certainly has a more difficult boss, but there is a way to cheese it that I don't show off in this video, but there will be a link down below to someone else's playthrough of X-Hunter Fortress Stage 2 that does a phenomenal job of showing the easy way of taking care of the boss here. It is a cool little stage, though. You know, more wall climbing challenges. Wall climbing is a thing that's introduced in Mega Man X1 and is used to great effect in the Mega Man X series overall, and in the sequel series, the Mega Man Zero series and the ZX series use the wall jumping mechanic to great effect. First introduced in X1, already starting to be put to some creative use here in X2 with these wall climbing sections. This section here with the bats, you want to make sure you use Crystal Hunter so you can have some little platforms. Technically, you can use a charged up flame stag if you want to get through that, but that's there to start teaching you that you can use Crystal Hunter to get past the Hall of Spikes. That second Spike Hall, where I got that little bit of health, there is an extra life at the very end of that Spike Hall. It's very difficult to reach, but that same video that's going to show the easy way of fighting this boss also shows you actually acquiring that life. I wouldn't recommend you ever go after that life at the end of the Spike Hall. It's very dangerous, and you're probably going to die on the way back if you get it at all, so it's not really worth your time. Anyway, second X-Hunter base boss is the Tsuge's tank. Tsuge's tank has 2 phases. Phase 1, you can't even damage his health bar. You have to destroy all 4 of the tank turrets here. The tank turrets are weak to Magna Centipede. You can also use, I believe, Overdrive Ostrich to destroy these. And of course, there will be another way that we'll show off in a second. Here we go. Silk Shot, that's the other one that slipped my mind. You can use Silk Shot, Magna Centipede, so Morph Moth, Magna Centipede, or Overdrive Ostrich to destroy all of the turrets from Tsuge's little tank here. The Overdrive Ostrich is probably the worst of the abilities to use. The best of the abilities that you can use is the Giga Crush. If you have Dr. Light's body armor from Morphmon stage, then you can use... There was a truck outside, oops. Then you can use... Then you can use the Giga Crush attack if it's already been charged up fully in order to automatically destroy all the turrets, which is a good thing, because if you automatically destroy all the turrets, the Tsuge's tank will only move forward once and destroy one of your 4 platforms. Whereas if you destroy them the normal way with the Magna Centipede or Overdrive Ostrich or Morph Moth, then it'll move towards X 2 times and destroy 2 of the 4 platforms that X has to work with. Second phase, is the actual pod where Surges is in. He is weak to Overdrive Ostrich and Flame Stag at this point. So if you have Overdrive Ostrich or Flame Stag of, full weapon bars at this point, use them. Flame Stag is more recommended because it's just easier to land the hit. If you if you hang out at the bottom platform of the tank, the one sort of safe place in this boss battle, then you can use a charged up Overdrive Ostrich to really end this fight as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you're probably using a sub-tank in this fight, as I did. It is a very difficult, very fast and furious boss. I would absolutely recommend that you come into this fight with at least one sub-tank. The same thing with the Neo Violin fight. Neo Violin just does so much damage. You want to come in here with one sub-tank. Surge's tank, unless you're using the easy strat, which is Giga Crush to automatically destroy all the turrets, and then hanging out in the bottom platform underneath the capsule that Surges operates out of, then I would recommend you come into this boss fight with one sub-tank. I'm skipping the map menu here because, as you know, Mega Man X, different from the classic series, so we go back to the map every single time in between stages. No need, you saw me do it once, there's no need to go through it again. I want to talk about what Surges says as he was dying, because that is one of the great failures of the localization of Mega Man X2, is his obsession with the revival of Zero being some kind of weird prophecy, when in the original translation for Mega Man X2, in Rockman X2 in Japan, that is the point when he is dying after the Surge's tank boss. That is the point when he starts talking about he couldn't believe that he's been bested by Dr. Light's champion yet again, implying that Surges is in fact Dr. Wily. That it is in fact Dr. Wily's mind inhabiting the body of a machine masquerading as a Reploid. So that's one of the great failures of Mega Man X2's translation. I really wish that for the Legacy Collection there was like some reworked translation that was included, but there wasn't, so whatever. X Hunter Stage 3, we've been here for a little bit now. This stage uses a lot of button platforms here. You jump on the platform, and the platform will change directions, and it will move in that direction until you jump again. That is one of the big factors of this stage, at least for the first part. You want to use Crystal Hunter here, so it's going to be easier to make the climb. X Hunter Stage 3 is very important in that it hides a special Dr. Light capsule, just like in Mega Man X1, where we had the special Dr. Light capsule hidden in Armored Armadillo stage that gave us the Street Fighter move Hadouken. Mega Man X2 also has a secret Dr. Light capsule, but it's not hidden in one of the regular Maverick stages. It is hidden in the X Hunter Fortress, specifically in X Hunter Fortress Stage 3. By the way, you can see that life changes colors depending on which special weapon you're using. That's a nice little thing. Anyway, there is a special Dr. Light capsule hidden in this stage. You need every single hard tank, you need every single sub-tank, you need every single other piece of Dr. Light armor that you have acquired in this game. So, helmet, body, arm, and foot parts. And at this point in the stage, you need to make sure you have a full health bar. It doesn't matter if you have to use a sub-tank at this point, use it, because you need to make sure that when you're jumping down this shaft, you have a full health bar, or this capsule is not going to appear. Alright? So you need full health for this. Not only do you need every hard tank, you need to make sure you have full health as you are going down the shaft to where this capsule is, or it's not going to show up. Anyway, for getting the capsule to show up, for your ultimate special reward is... hold on. The Shoryuken! Also from Street Fighter. So instead of the Hadouken, we get the Shoryuken. That's nice. Not many opportunities to use it. I'm not going to be using it at all in my playthrough because I'm, showing you how to play this normally. If you don't have all of the armor parts, or you just don't want to get the Shoryuken for whatever reason, then you can just play through X Hunter Stage 3 the normal way, which is going down this alternate path here. Much less dangerous, but still some shenanigans afoot with those instant kill spikes. But it's a much more straightforward path here. We're already at the end of it. By the way, don't try to risk your life using the dash upgrade or charged up flame stack. Just use the wire sponge to get that life above that little pit of spikes. All right. There's also an alternate way of getting the Shoryuken of getting the Shoryuken capsule, which involves this specific flying bug and the Crystal Hunter weapon. But there will be a link below, showing you showing you that alternate method of getting the showing you the alternate method of getting to the Dr. Light capsule. I apologize. There is stuff going on in the other room. There's apparently cops outside. There is a lot of noise going on. Yeah, you know, live and learn. Always can be distractions. All right. The boss of X Hunter Stage 3 is Agile, the Agile Flyer. Agile has merged and become this freakish, weird capsule thing that's floating above. Of the 3 X Hunter fights that you have in the X Hunter base, Agile, ironically, because he was, you know, one of the more difficult fights in you know, his regular form, but this form, the Agile Flyer form, is one of the easier fights. He's still weak to Magna Centipede, just as he was in his original fight, and Magna Centipede just shoots up, so it's super easy. He only has a few attacks. He drops down some spike platforms. Those spikes don't kill you in one hit. He shoots out some missiles. He can ram the walls if you're trying to climb the walls. If you're trying to climb the walls and hit him with regular Mega Buster, or regular X Buster, I should say. Still gotta get used to that. And that's it. I mean, there's really not much to Agile. Of the 3 X Hunters, he is the easiest to fight in the fortress. So, yeah, Agile really got a downgrade for this. Anyway, he implies that there is a secretive master that was behind the X Hunter's antics. And we will see if we can meet this master. So it's time for the Maverick rematches. Unlike in Mega Man X1, where we fought the Mavericks steadily throughout the course of the castle, as we did in the original Mega Man 1, Mega Man X2 features the classic formula of having a stage or section of a stage in the Final Fortress be dedicated entirely to rematches, to just the boss rematches. So here we go, boss rematches. There is going to be some music, but I will be talking every now and again, just to mention, you know, you're not seeing the weaknesses of these guys in the actual stages. So, you know, Flame Stag is weak to Bubble Crab. In between every single fight, there will be more health for you to pick up out here. Magna Centipede is weak to Silk Shot. I would recommend only using it once and then using the X Buster. Crystal Snail is weak to Magna Centipede. I would recommend you have to hit him to get him out of his shell, and then you can use Magna Centipede on the walls to incite additional damage. Every time Crystal Snail hits the walls, he will take damage, but you can have him take more damage with the actual Magna Centipede weapon. Overdrive Ostrich is weak to Crystal Snail. Wheel Gator remains a slog of a fight, and I would recommend you just use the X Buster to take him on. Bubble Crab is weak to Wheel Gator. Spikes have been added to the Bubble Crab arena. Wire Sponge is weak to Overdrive Ostrich. Killing Wire Sponge with Overdrive Ostrich, his weakness, results in a trophy as well as a cool death animation. Morph Moth is weak to Flame Stag. And that's it. That's all the rematches. Sped up with some nice music that first appeared in a trailer for Rockman X2. And of course, we have the return of Sigma. Of course, we knew that was going to happen. Obviously, we all saw the post-credit for Mega Man X1. Mega Man X2 is establishing just what kind of series this is going to be. Very similar to the original classic series and how it uses Dr. Wily. Alright, for the final stage, fun fact, Sigma challenges X to a fight at the central computer. So you can actually pick the central computer stage, or you can just pick the X Hunter Fortress, which is now destroyed, and X will be transported to the final stage. It doesn't matter if you pick the central computer stage or the X Hunter Fortress. We'll be seeing me pick the central computer stage in the extras video. The first section of the final level of this central computer stage revisit is exactly the same as Magna Centipede's the first part of Magna Centipede's stage. It's the exact same stage. I believe if you haven't collected the heart tank and the sub tank, they're still going to be here. So cool. This is one of the only times in the Mega Man franchise where the final stage is actually a stage that we have visited before. So that's interesting, and it plays very importantly into the plot of Mega Man X2 and the overall lore of Mega Man X. That we are in a point where Sigma is attempting to transmit this virus all over the world to infect all Reploids and turn them all into Mavericks. You know, there's more stuff involved where a lot of the Mavericks from X2 are creations that were built specifically for the purpose of being Mavericks, and some of them were in fact Maverick Hunters or good Reploids that have been brainwashed into becoming Mavericks as a result of this virus and as a result of some alternative programming. So we have Sigma here, we had Black Armored Zero, and we have regular real Zero. Dr. Kane has finished working on him and is here to save the day. We are going to be going over the entire alternate ending and all the differences in the extras video, so look out for that. Here I'm just exclusively showing off the good ending that I worked towards by beating all of the X-Hunters and getting all of Zero's parts back before defeating all 8 Mavericks the first time, so here we're getting a whole bunch of lore stuff that Zero is for some reason supposed to work with Sigma. We don't exactly know why. I mean, if you played the Classic Series, if you've seen any of the Classic Series videos, then, you have an idea as to why Zero is supposed to be working with Sigma, but a lot of that is kept, as a mystery and as a background mystery for the overall Mega Man X franchise, starting in this game. Here, we start getting drip-fed information about Zero and Sigma, as we work our way through the ending of X2, through X3, through X4, and, of course, in X5, where it all comes to a head, at least where it was all supposed to come to a head. Anyway, Zero is now giving us the means to go and fight Sigma. He's going to go and destroy the central computer so that the virus stops transmitting all over the world. And we are going to go and face down Sigma again, a second time. So here we go, we drop down. And it is time for the final boss. 2 phases. Here we go. Phase 1 is going to be Neo Sigma. merely a bothersome insect, Mega Man X. Alright, so the good news is that Neo Sigma is... Well, okay, so first of all, we can't cheese this fight the way that we could the Sigma fight in X1. The good news about that, though, is that even though we can't cheese it, Neo Sigma is actually a little bit weaker than OG Sigma was in X1. He has, attacks that are less threatening. If you have Dr. Light's armor that from Morphmod stage, then, he's not really going to be able to do much damage to you. He has a few attacks. He can leap up into the air, disappear, and then try to attack you with his claws by slamming down into the ground, and then try to do a dash attack with his claws. He can fire out little electricity orbs, 5 of them, that chase you around, and he also fires those walls of electricity that are deceptively larger than they appear. And the electricity orbs can be kind of difficult to dodge too. If you have the Dr. Light armor, then this fight is very, very doable. I mention the Dr. Light armor a lot because, boy oh boy, in the extras video, you're going to see just how much more difficult this boss is when you don't have the Dr. Light armor. But the claw strike, the claw dash, the electro balls, and the electric wall don't do that much damage. You see that I'm almost still at full health. Sigma Phase 1, Neo Sigma is not that threatening. Wolverine Sigma is not that big of an issue. Phase 2 is the Sigma Virus. Mode 7 graphics at its finest. We have Sigma's head in 3D. This is the Sigma Virus incarnate. This is, in fact, Sigma's quote-unquote spirit. It is his essence in virus form. We're going to be learning a lot more about this virus. It is weak to Wire Sponge in this game. It shoots out some basic enemies to fire out at you. Those enemies can drop health and they can drop weapon energy, so that's awesome. His most devastating attack is the laser. The laser does the most damage of any of his attacks. He tries to ram into you for contact damage, but compared to the laser, the Sigma Virus contact damage is so low that if you have to pick between getting hit by the laser or getting hit by coming into contact with the Sigma Virus itself, then pick the contact damage, because the laser does more damage. The Sigma Virus is going to go through a series of colors to demonstrate that it's getting weaker and weaker. There is no health bar, but it does have, as far as I'm aware, according to the wiki, double the health of a normal boss. So, whereas Mega Man X can have 32 total health if you have all the heart tanks, the Sigma Virus has 64 health in total, but with Wire Sponge you can bring him down extremely quickly, and in fact, we're already done. This fight is extremely different if you don't have all of the Dr. Light armor parts, and we're going to be getting into that in the next video, which is the extras video, so stay tuned for that, because we're going to be getting into, just how different all of this is if you do an Unarmored X challenge run, and there is a reason why you would want to do an Unarmored X challenge run. We'll get into that in the extras video. Sigma here is declaring that he has lost to X again. He doesn't really care, though, because he lives on as this crazy, evil, powerful virus that can infect almost any Reploid and, can be transmitted to any new body. The thing that is confusing him, though, is Zero. He claims that he is the last of the Doctor's creations, and whereas Mega Man X is the last of Dr. Light's creations, we know from the classic series that Zero is intended to be the last of Dr. Wily's creations. So that is going to lead to some drama, and some fun fights, and some awesome boss music later on down the road. But this is a thread that is introduced in X2, and is going to continue to be built on in X3 and X4, and finally, reach its pinnacle, reach its apex, reach its conclusion in Mega Man X5. So we'll be keeping an eye out on that plot point, as well as the plot point of this dangerous Maverick virus that is infecting Reploids and is allowing Sigma to just live on in perpetuity, despite the fact that we have beaten him 2 times now. Alright, that is the end of Mega Man X2. We have ourselves another wistful, brooding moment alone out in the cliffs, looking over the ocean this time. No falling palace crashing into the sea. This time X is joined by Zero, as opposed to just being on his own, because now Zero is not dead, he is back. Everything that we have been working towards in X2 has finally come to fruition. We have our friend back. We will see if that's a good thing moving forward. Especially when we get to X5, we will see if that is in fact a good thing to have him back. But for now, we're all done. So, stay tuned, because next time we are going to have the extras video where we cover the alternate ending, as well as a bunch of other extra stuff for Mega Man X2, and then the collectibles guide, where I show you where all the heart tanks, sub-tanks, Dr. Light capsules, and all of the alternate boss doors are in Mega Man X2. Final thing, the developers didn't have time to do everything they wanted to do for the credit sequence of Mega Man X2. Mainly, they weren't able to incorporate the Mavericks. They just have these Rock Band points to sort of show you sort of show you their power levels. But I went ahead and added the Mavericks back in, so you will be able to have a nicer little credit sequence here. So next time, extras video, collectibles guide, and then after that we are going to be starting Mega Man Extreme, our next spin-off title. So look forward to that. I've been talking for half an hour now, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.